Welcome.
Welcome back. Thanks for coming in again here. Weird Games.
First video of the month.
Sure, new month, new dragon. Checking in with Papa Weird and the Benbarian.
And Weirdling and Gus.
Sure. Very pleased to meet you. I don't know if my werebears can talk, but
Very pleased to meet you.
I don't know what that'd be. Very, oh, very good. I didn't even pick up on that. That you dad punned me. Great work. Okay, so we have to do our
Change log?
Sure. House cleaning. Where were we? Here, right? These were the artifact rooms that connected between the guardians and the actual chamber, right? So we had some guardian rooms here, and
Artifact 1 and Artifact 2.
yeah, artifact 1 and 2, very much exactly the same. One, yeah, the collar of venom, and what was the other one? Oh yeah, the merchant's box, right, with the ledger in it for good sales. Okay, very good. Now, and this is the actual lair that went over several pages, right? So
3 to be exact.
Sure. So what happens here is the Moondragon is holding this place together. When it dies, assuming that it's killed and not captured or subdued in any way, right?
So if you don't get the items while you're fighting the dragon, the items just go away if you defeat it.
No, okay, so what happens is you defeat it, and then the magic of the Moondragon's holding this place together, and the moon starts to not like implode or collapse, but like fragments of the moon starting from outside on the crater area up at the top
trickle off.
Start to float away, right? And dissipate into the ether of the stars, right? And so first of all, what will happen is those pillars, the pillars here will flicker, and the magic that's holding it together will fade instantly because the dragon had direct control over that portal back into the mage's area, their little corridor and their magic institution that they had going on, right?
So now it's impossible for them to get it back.
It's impossible to get back now. Yeah, anything that was going on there is done with, right? So if they left anybody there working on the Spelljammer ship, or someone didn't cross over and they sort of like rushed in there and didn't wait for everybody to come across, right? You'd assume that the entire party went through that portal, the one-way portal in. Maybe they subdue the dragon and it's left alive and they want to get back out or something, until they, like they guard it at one hit point because we've still got one person on the other end of the portal. Open up the portal for us so we can get them to come through, right? So that's not really for us to decide. But what happens is if it dies, this portal goes blank. Like there's no way back.
All right?
And then starting from the portal, everything starts to dissipate and float away into the ether. All right.
So once it gets up to them, they just
10 minutes. They got 10 minutes to search. All right. So that is look for these magical items we placed into this room. So it's not necessarily going to be guaranteed, right? We put them all there.
And then just open your bag of holding and then just...
Well, and then just start to, scoop up gold. All right. So how much of this gold? I didn't do the actual calculations. I should have done that. Well, I had a lot of other things to do. I drew up the actual, you can see that, the actual cavern here with the ridge where the dragon sleeps on, okay, at rest, assuming it hasn't
this is a dragon.
This is a dragon, again, like with my perfect drawings here. So this is a crack. This way to the lore, actually, this way to despair. Lore? No. I'm going to cross that out, despair.
What did you mean by a lore?
Well, the original idea is I wanted to go and have fiends, right? But there's several kinds of fiends, and you normally think of the fiends that are lawful evil, that are in opposition to the demons, okay? Out of all of the evil, you got lawful, neutral, and chaotic, right? Well, there's actually the ones that are neutral in the center, and through my little bit of homework and investigation into this month and whatever, over the last couple of days, I've settled on Yugoloths, this idea of a neutral evil, one of the planes there that it's not ruled by law, as in contracts and a city of order, which possibly could be a little bit too boring, and everybody knows about devils and they're probably overplayed. We're going to step into the Yugoloth, where it's a domain of neutrality and just pure evil, where it's actually controlled.
No one cares?
Well, no, well, there's a lot of no care because it's all very selfish, but it's a domain of control and tyranny, and the mortals that are there are kept there as like cattle to work and do sort of indentured labor and jobs and services, and we'll look into that. But what you can see is, yeah, when the entire realm is falling apart, and they're like, well, which way do we go? Which way do we go? We've got like 10 minutes. Oh, this, like everything's
That
coming down.
thing's
Like
the only thing that won't collapse.
that's the last thing that will collapse. That's what they will see, and they will notice it through the fight. The fight is that on this ridge here, the raised ridge where the dragon has all of the silks and all of the nice furnishings and stuff like that of the collection. This is where there's going to be a crack, and you can see straight through into the other domain. Whereas the other doorways into here, the other portals with starry lights, this one is actually you see.
Fire.
Well, actually, the domain we are going to go into is Jehana. Let me see. The pronunciation of this place is a little bit difficult, and we will need
Do
the
you want me to
DMG. No, not quite
open
yet.
it, or?
We need the Dungeon Master's Guide, all right? Because what we're dealing with here is one of the portals. Let's see if I can find it. We're not going into Limbo, all right? We're not at Mount Celestia. Here. Can we see that? Gehenna, all right, or Gehenna. Probably pronunciation's a bit funny on this, but I've heard it pronounced both ways. Sure. Is it pronounced like a GIF or a GIF? Or that's kind of the G issue here. But anyway, Gehenna. So in this place, this is where the Yugoloths originated. This is where they live. This is when they die out in the other planes. This is where they get brought back to and resurrect. Okay, so this is also where they get promoted as they move through their ranks of devildom or whatever, right? Their equivalent, because they're actually like, okay, so there's devils and there's demons, and these are loths. That's why they're the Yugoloths. Okay, they're a kind of demon called a daemon with an A in there. All right.
Isn't that spelled like Daemon?
Yeah, sure, but they took it out of that all the other original editions ago because of crazy Christian people who thought you were summoning actual real-life devils, rather than just playing a game with some magic rocks that do math, right? So,
I mean, the dice aren't that magical.
You saying my dice aren't that magical? I am offended. How dare you? Don't let them hear you. All right.
Plastic magical.
Some of them aren't. Yours aren't. You got a couple of nice ones there.
Yeah,
I got a couple of resin ones, right? They're not all just plastics and hard plastics.
Most of them are.
Right. So, staying on tracks through the crack. When the dragon dies, while they're trying to scramble everything up, and then they realize, oh, we can't get back. Where are we going? This last portal, it is 20 feet wide, all right? Let me see, did I do that? 5, 10? Well, I should probably widen that out on my drawing here. It has to be big enough to accommodate the dragon willfully going through it, all right?
So the dragon can just like...
Yeah, it can switch it because the dragon goes through to do work or sends emissaries, probably sends the mage through, or even the actual hags from earlier. The hags have dealings with the mage at the end of that ravine there, okay? They also have dealings with this dragon, because they're all evil, and evil works a lot together in some ways for their own selfish motivations and stuff, and it's not always great, but anyway, this is a way for them to deal with, this is the actual connection to a plane, all right? It's the moon dragon, right, came from this place of evil, all right, and selfishness. Okay,
that's why
and it's trying to escape. Okay, and it's trying to escape out of here. Okay, through multi-planar, planescape, sort of stupid magic. How all the layers connect and stuff, right? The portals and stuff. The dragon is using this place and this moon that it's pulled out of this moon husk. It's pulled out of the Astral Sea. All right, it's inhabited that and it's trying to escape. And the way it was going to escape was the Spelljammer, which was being worked on, which, depending on how the campaign gets played out, the Spelljammer could be absolutely destroyed and lost and forgotten at this point, right? But that's how it was going to escape off into the actual larger dimensions and actually start traveling out and get freedom. Otherwise, it's kind of stuck for ages and eons trying to perfect this Spelljammer to get out of here between the plane of Gehenna and between the actual physical normal mortal plane of Tyrell, the 5e plane, all right, of mortal existence, where the adventurers come from. You know, they come through their prison, they've come down into this valley, cut out into the mountains. They've stumbled into this mansion, this hut, which is operated by this mage, right? The Abjura wizard there that's working for this dragon. And out of all of this convoluted pathway, in the end, there's a crack in the wall. Crack in the wall is actually where the dragon come from. And where the dragon come from is Johanna, and that's where we're going to. And so I suppose
Enough of an.
there's a lot of monologue. Sometimes the DM has to monologue, all right? And then they need a drink of their Korean green tea, all right? Beautiful.
Let's have some water.
Water, okay. Got hard water going on. The point is that I needed to clear that up from last time. What happens when you slay the dragon? Well, if you control it, then you control it and you can manipulate it, whatever. But if you slay it, then you have limited time. The druid or ranger has to get parts off the dragon. Someone's running around, like you said, with a bag of holding, scooping up gold. Someone's making rolls for, I pull in, what is that sword? I just take it. I put it in my bag. What's that thing? Oh, my God, that arm is really flash and pretty. Oh, I got to take it.
And then they can, if they listen, they can hear the world, crumbling.
Yeah, sure, yeah. And then at that point, the fighter who doesn't really care, at the back is or maybe the barbarian who doesn't really care, right? Guys, I think I just went up and had a look, and it's like everything's floating off into outer space.
We need to escape.
Does anybody know how we're gonna get out of here? That door doesn't work anymore. All right. So, and I also here on my sheet, I changed those +3 items down to a +2 for balance. That's a DM thing, right? They're still broken in some of the things that they can do. They're wondrous items. They're truly legendary a little bit, I feel. But at the same time, now they're only +2s. All right. So let's start. Let's move on. Where are we at?
Enough of an exposition done.
Oh, geez. How long are we in?
12 minutes.
Oh, my gosh. Already. So where are we at?
But these
I
are
didn't
first
even get
3
a chance
days.
to draw up. We got 120. 121 is where we're at. Okay.
121, 122, and 123.
121, 122, and 123. Okay. Oh, there's already a piece of paper on here, but no numbers. 123. Okay. This is day 120. Can you imagine? This is a third of the year. Unbelievable. I think I said that already.
You said that last episode.
Did I? No, I think that sort of gets to me a little bit that we've managed to keep with it and that we've kind of gotten somewhere. I don't know if it's been entirely, I think it's been cohesive and narrative and storyline made sense as we've sort of moved through here. But
the incohesiveness has been cohesive enough.
I should have written it out properly. Look at this. This is what happens when I'm not prepared. Okay. Day 123. Day 123. All right, I'll fix that up later. Okay, so
just draw the boxes and
I'll draw some boxes and stuff. So what are we doing? So while I draw, I will talk.
Pass me the black book. I will see what we are doing.
Okay. So actually, before we get into that, there is quite a lot going on with moving into another plane, especially this one. There are effects that go on. Okay. So what happens is, when you go to cast a spell.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything that is not evil aligned or necrotically aligned or some kind of evocation damaging spell. So pretty much anything that is beneficial, or anyone who is a good aligned caster in any way, right? Casting any kind of spell of that kind that's not implicitly damaging or controlling or malignant or evil.
Malicious.
Okay? Yeah. They have to make a charisma roll. Okay. Only 10. Very basic, you think, right? Charisma roll, 10, not a problem.
Not many people put stuff into charisma.
Yeah, well, no, actually, warlocks and paladins do, okay, to be honest. And there's not many people that are going to be casting. It's not like you're a fighter or a barbarian that's taken the dump stat of charisma is going to be casting. But if they do, and they fail, this basic level 10, DC 10 save, they lose their spell slot and the spell fails. But this is for every spell they will cast. They will always have this.
No.
So they're always going to have the option of, oh my God, if I happen to just roll low enough, I get even a you know, say 4, 5, 6 or whatever, anything lower than that, then I'm gonna fail. I lose that spell slot. If it's a significant spell or it's right in the middle of combat or it's clutch right, there's always gonna have that just hanging over them. Okay. Okay.
What
Yeah.
if that just never happens and they don't figure that out?
What oh, they just roll over 10. Like I ask them to roll and you ask them to roll and you ask them to roll and then it just never goes. Oh, well, good for them. That's great. I mean that's perfect, right? Like literally perfect. And but I don't know or foresee how often that's going to happen. All right.
Sure.
Now,
Anyways,
the other thing, no, we have to clear these up because you're going to see there's a lot of notes about this. When they come into this plane, you can't teleport off of this plane without being explicitly an evil character. All right. And so you can't also banish things off of this plane unless you are an evil character. Okay. So like I said before, you know, like it not only favors evil, but it also works in
evil's favorite.
yeah. So this one here is the crack in the wall. Okay, so there is a crack. Oh, okay. We have to talk about this plane. This plane still, right? It's all lore. This plane is volcanoes. Right, most particularly 4 giant plane-sized, world-sized volcanoes. Okay, so there's lavas everywhere.
Are they going to be?
Well, they're on the lower ones. Okay, so it's not absolutely blindingly hot. They're not on the plane of fire here. They're not burning up. Okay, but everything is on a slant. So where they're traveling a lot of the past and traveling in this campaign, they're going to be on a slant. Okay, so they're automatically going to have DC probably 16, 17, 18, depending on the area, to slide off and fall for miles at a time. So we're not talking about feats here. Like this is killing stuff. So this is where like we got the guys have all sorts of magical spells and powers. Level 9 now, right? So
level 9.
Yeah, 9 and 10 is what we're moving through now. Jeez. So we're getting up there, right? So they have a lot of options now to hopefully make sure that at least themselves, if not all of their followers that they've dragged through the portal with them, can be safe. Okay, so I'm not necessarily too afraid of doing this, but at the same time, if they fall off and they go down the side of a mountain for a couple of miles trip, that's not on me at this point. Okay, like I said, we're being harsh but fair. I'm giving them options, hopefully, to work around these problems. But yeah, so
like flying.
Some of them probably will have option to that for sure. Now, and you know, others will have forms that they can shift into or something that might make they might have a climb speed. Anyone with a climb speed, this is not a problem for them. All right, okay. So these are the 2 things that are going on. Okay, they're on the side of a volcano. Anywhere that's flat is usually where the lava runs and flows are, or where there is some poisoned waterways, or there is the river Styx that flows through this domain as much as any of the other lower planes. All right, so let's do it. We have a crack in the wall. Okay, so
crack in the wall.
This one's going to be just simple. This is where the party's going to get shunted out here, and after the 10-minute time, if nobody, you know, whoever hasn't made it out, the crack itself is just going to dissipate of magic, and it's just going to be like a big gouge in the side of the one of the mountains, with an immediate pathway. So this is what we're doing on the other side here. This is the 2 rooms immediately, the 2 last days. Okay, the path and the crack. All right, so that's why I kind of had to set up a lot of what's actually going on, because there's a few things here.
Water.
All right. Yeah, a bit of a tea break here. Okay. So you wanna have a look in the book and see what we're talking about? Oh, mind you. All right, just a second. Okay.
Whoa, that's a lot of sticky notes.
Okay, so on this layer, in this place here of Gehenna, right? Okay. It's the birthplace of the Yugoloth. Okay, now you're not going to encompass all of them. We're not going to see an Ultraloth because that's going to be even too more powerful for the party. But this area that they've stepped into is themed to be the Wild West. Okay, so on the side of mountains with lava flows, we have a somewhat Old West town and layout, all right, and features, okay, and personality in some ways. Okay. Yeah, sure, it's like that, but it's absolutely, this is the worst sort of like Wild West town ever, where everybody's guaranteed to be evil, or the normal mortals there are probably at best neutral. They're all going to be selfish. They're going to wonder why you just shot out of the side of a mountain and have appeared here, and why you're traveling with all of these creatures if you're dragging them behind.
So
They're not going to necessarily be outright hostile because there are visitors to the other plane, but this is not a place where the good line of Platin is just going to come out and be like, I wear my holy symbol and I am righteous to everybody in my speech, and anyone challenges my god or whatever here, I will smite them, because you can have everybody, the entire town, the place will just turn on you. In that, it'll just turn that dangerous. All right, and as a show in a sense of that
so
danger.
there's not gonna be any guns.
There's no gunks here. No, sorry, no guns. No, it's not like that. It's
Worst Wild West town ever.
Worst Wild West town, no guns. Maybe there's a gunslinger here. But most of these Yugoloths, the creatures that are here, they don't work like that. They have magical abilities.
And they don't
they have weapons. Some of them turn into weapons. All right, those Battleloths that we're having a look at earlier, okay, that we might bring in later. These Battleloths, they turn into weapons that can be shot by other Yugoloths. All right, so
and we have a gun Battleloth.
So no, we don't have a gun battle. Oh, would you like one somewhere?
Yes.
So we're gonna have to make one of these. Let me see. This is a problem with the Yugoloth. They're all very different and in what they do. Some are more insectoid and like ravenous beasts. Some are smarter. Some have like jackal-headed feature, like fox people sort of look. Some are like alien with smooth face, no mouth. Some of them are big, sort of like pig creatures that don't have a face or a snout. They're just like a teeth ring with a jagged tongue, like that thing from Triple R. Like, so can you imagine like fighting up against like 2 or 3 of those? You know
that whip.
Yeah, the whip.
Except instead of a whip, it's the mouth and the tongue.
And that's just teeth with that. Yeah. Can you imagine? How fun is that, right?
Very fun.
Okay, so there's a lot of stuff going on actually in this town. I've tried to set this one kind of like the prison as to where we're going. Okay, and the first thing that we need to do.
Actual organized rooms.
Somewhat more so, yeah. We're not doing just like rolling dice onto a page this time and just building out some sort of crazy thing, right? There's also not going to be spaces like illusionary corridors and magical rooms off to other portals. This is all on the plane from start to finish. When they get out, they have to deal with these here Yugoloth fiends and their hierarchy and who's in control of them. All right, so we will get through and introduce all of them as we go. I think later on we're going to have to introduce more of them so we don't get too long here. But to start with, what we will do is we will set the stage. Okay, so what we've got here is closing up the book with all of these.
Can we have a bar?
There is a version of a saloon here. Yeah, there will be something like a saloon, but it's not what you're thinking. Okay.
So no.
Now, all of this it's exactly no. Okay. There can be flappy doors. There can be a flappy door saloon kind of place, but it's more of the dispensary of kinds, like a You'll see. It's not what you're thinking. This place is a bit different, how it's going to operate. Because the idea here is power control. These Yugoloths, they're into like making deals, not so much as being lawfully wise and being held by them, at least not on their end. Okay, they're not like the devils where they make a deal and they have to be held by it because they got strict honor codes. These guys will make a deal, but they'll exploit it and try and get out of the way, and they'll make themselves more stupid to like get a better deal on their end until they like pull the rug over someone at the end, right? Like these guys can be quite creative in their maliciousness. Okay.
Yeah.
So this place is entirely locked down. What we have here is we're gonna have a Western themed town and controlled by Yugoloths. All right. We're gonna have some mortals here, but they're gonna be neutral aligned. Okay, as living members in this little township that have jobs to do, or they're being exploited. They're workers. Okay. So and then we have personalities and NPCs and creatures around that. Okay. Now, beyond the town, we'll deal with that later. Okay, we'll just get the town first and introduce these Yugoloths and stuff, and then we'll move on. Okay.
So we
crack in the wall.
Do a crack in the wall.
Crack in the wall. All right. There's
a way to a path.
There's a crack like that in the wall. It once was a portal. All right. It once was a nice portal, but when the party, hopefully at least all of them get through, and a few of their friends, and some of the gold and loot and treasure. All right, they get through here and they pop out. They're on the side of a mountain cliff, and it's a 5-foot walkway with like a DC 16 along the walkway paths, dexterity to walk along the side of the cliff face outside of the crack, or you essentially fall
and die.
like we just fall, sliding down, taking like if you're not taking exactly D6 by hitting the ground and you're just sort of sliding down it, I would say that every 10 feet instead of taking a D6, you take a D4. But you take that for miles. Unless they can like, oh, I gotta fly down and quickly get so and so because they're an idiot and fell off and stupid paladins and their armor.
What about the wizard who has like a 10 in dex?
That's their bad luck. This is just the way it is. These are the things they got to deal with this in this realm. You know, right? This is where we're up in the difficulty. You know, like now we're dealing with domains and stuff. We're not in the real world no more. Well, we're not in the material plane anymore. All right. So okay.
So that's
CC. That's very simple.
room.
That's very simple.
Next
Crack in the
room.
wall. This is just a pathway. All right. So, but what we're gonna do is. Yeah, sure. But at part of it, all right, we got the pathway down, all right, to get into the actual.
Are we gonna make like a crack, like?
Yeah, this is where we're gonna have like a break. This is gonna be like an obstacle. Okay, so they got their DC 16 thing, but then they've also got like a 60-foot hole. I don't know, 60 foot's a little bit too much there.
30 foot.
Well, I mean, 60 foot. They got 150 foot of rope. Right, they did get 150 foot of rope, and they've got a whole heap of other rope and stuff and things like this. I think they got potions of flying and stuff.
Oh yeah, they do.
Somewhere.
They
so
got like 10.
So I think 60 foot is somewhat reasonable. So we got a 60-foot gap, all right, that they have to overcome with whoever they're bringing. Otherwise, you know, like you stay behind because we can't get you across, or they make like a rope bridge. All right, so
Just get whoever has a climb speed to carry somebody on their back, like a really light person. And just get them to just
awful. I'm just going with awful. Right. I'm just doing a lot of that. The fall, like I said, was a D4 per 10 feet. All right.
4 miles.
D4 per 10 feet. Yeah, sure. So that's very simple. Okay, so the idea is they get out of this crack in the wall, they're coming down the path, and they will get to a point where they see, they will also see it's volcanoes. Obviously, there's lava, right, in places and stuff. Eventually, when they come down these many 100 feet walk down this mountain, making periodic dexterity saves to see if they fall off or not. Eventually, they get to the bottom, and they see... pull this out over here. Okay. This is where they're going to see the start of the township, okay? It's going to come down into a lava flow. Okay, so the pathway off the side of the mountain.
So it's going to be really hot.
This is one of the least, being on the first bottom volcano layer, this is the least hot. Like I said, it's going to be uncomfortable, but they're not going to be making exhaustion rolls. They're not going to be having any fire damage like on the plane of fire. The biggest deal for them is that everything's on a side of a volcano mountain. And the only place that is flat is the places where
there's lava.
The lava or some water or the river Styx flows through it as a sort of like, you know, lower land level, like a sea level. And so that's what we're going to do there, all right? So path will come down and there'll be a larger rivulet and the path will kind of come along the side of it. So if they fall along now, they'll fall into the lava. And essentially what they're going to see over here...
And they're going to get Anakin.
...is... this place comes down the lava flow, flattens out. You're going to get out of here, sure.
Then they're just going to...
I don't know if Palpatine's coming from.
Get...
Oh, no, not again. Not in a plane of evil. Oh, well, actually, that's Mustafa. That's where I live. A different plane of evil. Anyway, so what happens is it comes down flat, like the flow levels out, okay? So when the flow levels out, so does they're sort of like open out to a more flat area, okay? And this is where we're going to put our township. And the township is going to have like two sides to it with like bridges that go over, okay? So there's bridges, and what we're dealing with first is when they come in, they're not going to be able to see all the buildings, but there's going to be buildings, like I said, instead of Main Street, we have the lava flow, Right. So like I said, this is going to be a Western town theme, but just not like you know it. Okay. So we got Main Street, and it's a lava flow. All right.
So,
So this is
are there like bridges across, or
yeah. There's several bridges. There's going to be 2 or 3 bridges. All right, that they're going to see.
that's not very
Okay.
several.
So this is the township itself is going to be called Dominion Creek. All right. So this is the name of the Wild West town. Okay. And the creek itself is actually obviously now not a creek. It's a lava flow. Unfortunately, so this is, as you said, this is the worst Western town ever. All right, no actual creek. It's a lava flow. No main town. It's a lava flow, and there's only evil and neutrally people. Okay, so what are we putting here other than just being able to see into it? Okay, so across the river, further on, okay, which we will put in thematically later on, but this is going to be our signal. The adventurers come down the path, they do it either stealthily or they send someone down. And what they're going to see, just by happenstance, on the first day, this is our signal, all right, of what's going on. They're going to see, and I'm not quite sure where to draw it. I'll just draw it somewhere anyway. I'll just represent it and draw it later. A cage that's suspended over the top of the lava flow. And they're going to see with an individual in it. Okay, this individual is actually the ex-mayor of the actual little place, right? And the problem is the ex-mayor got it into his head to be a little bit too uppity. All right, so this is the them sitting renewed example. You know, okay, so the head boss guy here, who we probably can say what they will see. I think
a little bit rowdy.
They see a Yagnoloth, all right? So where's the Yagnoloth? That's in this one here. All right, you might want to find that one. Yeah. So they see a Yagnoloth. They're going to also see a heap of other Yugoloths here. They're going to see some Carnoloths, some of the guard dog ones. They're very slow, lumbering forms of things. They're the things with the round mouth, teeth, tongue things, all right? They're like guard dogs for them. They're going to see that. They're going to see a whole mess of, maybe not a whole mess. I'm thinking so. Yeah, they're going to see a Yagnoloth. They're going to see at least 2 Canoloths. All right. They're going to see these Nicoloths that are actually the generals. They're going to have at least 2 of them. All right.
No, what is it? The Canoloths?
Canoloths. I'm pretty sure they're in here. All right. Yeah, sure. So they got Canoloths. And those guys are like guard dogs for the Yagnoloth.
These things.
Yeah. Pretty. All right. So they and beside them are also the Nicoloth. These are the generals to the boss. All right. So Nicoloth, I'm pretty sure they're actually in the monster manual, maybe, if you don't see it in there. Yeah, they're in here, 314. Okay, 314, Nicoloth. Okay, oh, they're on the other page. Oh, you don't really get to see them, I think. Is that it? Is that the best picture they got there? That thing, all right. So they got them. There's at least 2 of those, okay. Now, the idea of having all these different Yugoloth and some other ones we'll get into later on that pop up is to show that, like, this is a bad deal. The guys should be quiet, should witness what's going on. It's an absolute show of force. They shouldn't force anything now because the CR ratings of all of these creatures in this place together and unknowing whatever, it's just wonky. It's an out of scale encounter. There's absolutely no way. The best they could hope for, if they do that, right? How do you avoid a TPK when they do something like this and end up in the wrong situation?
Try and push them all into the lava.
No. Okay. What happens is, say your party's having a TPK and everybody's going down. Oh no, they failed their whatever save. Oh no, their whatever. What you do is you have them wake up in the prison. They're caught. They weren't actually whatever. They unconscious. You know, their whole death saves or whatever. But they were actually resuscitated. Then they're in the prisons, right? And then what you have to do then as a DM, you have to get all convoluted about introducing someone to like rescue them out, bring all their equipment and stuff. Then you need a prison break, right? So we'll probably have to do, if not another prison, we're at least going to have to do a brig or a barracks or something where that they, you know, like a little jail section where if they capture people, they can put them away. All right, you see? Okay. So
it's going to be like here, a jail here.
They're a little, at least. Okay, so we will talk about where those things will be and where all of these creatures hold up, where they're staying, and where the party will be going all later. That's all of this stuff here on this side. Right now, all we're dealing with is They come through a cut in the mountains, right? The town is between two mountain cuts along not a dirty river. It's actually along a lava flow, all right, with bridges over the cross of it.
Okay.
They have those ones are for later. Okay, that's for later. Okay, so they have a cage in the middle of the river. Okay, in the middle of the lava flow, and they have the mayor being like you should have listen when I told you to back off. Why were you getting everybody noisy? You have one job, you had it good, right? You had the better meat. You actually got to eat the real meat, okay? Because that's going to be a deal later on, whether they get the real meat or the not real meat, okay? So
The space swine or the other dead Yugalor?
no, we got other creatures, all right. We might be able to show those off in a second. Throw that away.
You missed.
That's all right. It's the trying that counts. Okay.
I thought that counts.
So what happens is, because of his insubordination, he gets dipped into the lava. Like, it's just like that. Okay, this is so the people can see how malicious it is. They can see there's a bad guy. There's clearly a bad guy who's got two generals. That's got a couple of hounds and a few other little ones that are running around him. It's an absolutely out of balanced encounter that they shouldn't whatever. And they're gonna have to go into this township and either make allies or find out what's going on or get captured or something to progress the story to find out what's happening. All right. Then the head what are they called? These names, seriously. The Yagnoloth, all right. The head one here, this boss guy, he's going to then promote somebody, right? And he's going to be like, like he's already pulled someone out who's standing next to him. This person's now the new mayor. They're loyal to me. They're going to tell me, and the other dude's going to be like some sniveling little snake. It's going to be like, yes, my lord, yes, I'll dob in anybody, blah, blah, blah. We'll get order back going on here. Watch out, I've got my eye on all of you, right? Okay.
Is it going to be one of the smart ones?
Who's this one? Oh, the smart Yugoloths?
Yeah.
No. You mean the what are they called? The Arcana Loss?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's gonna be one here. Yeah, I'm not telling you who it is. Yeah, you can figure it out later. Oh, okay, because that's the spoiler for this area. Okay, this is the one that's kind of the one big spoiler that I want to get to later. So anyway, we're not really doing any of the buildings here. The idea is that what they're going to see coming out here is they got a space. They can come out to this cutout. They're going to have an area that they can probably hide and prepare themselves. They can send in someone as stealth to watch what's going on and sort of try and fade into the whatever, or druid or whatever to get in there.
The rogue sneaking around as a sneaky snake.
But definitely, this is going to be what we're moving forward with now for this month. Is they're in this lower plane of the neutral evil place, Jahana. They are in a Wild West scenario. It's like Sliders, but worse. Are you gonna do that every time I say the Wild West? All right.
We'll see.
And I think that's all we really have to do for today. We've set the scene. We've tidied up stuff. Talked about the setting quite at end. We've talked about how they got here, getting down the side of the mountain with an obstacle trap, and then we're getting in here and we're setting the scene. So this is, we should actually write it in. Day 1 equals the hanging, but it's not a technical hanging. It's more of a hanging over a river of lava, a lava hanging. I don't know what to call that. But yeah. So the hanging there over the lava. They're going to instate a new mayor. They're going to have, like I said, I should have written them down. There's going to be one time Yagnoloth. There is going to be 2 times Canoloths. There's going to be 2 times the Niholoths. Okay, because these are all serious. These are like CR9s and 11s and stuff. So adding them all in together in one engagement is not going to be good. So what we also have then is we want to jump over to the other screen there, so we can show everybody what we're sort of talking about as the different planes, so we can go through it. All right. So as you can see, we got that. That's what the whole sort of what's the name for it? They're celestial universe looks like, right? So you can see on the top's all the good, and on the bottom's all the bad. On the left side's all the order, on the right side's all the chaos. Okay. And Johanna is where's Johanna? Lower.
In the plane of conflict.
Yeah, this is why they think they're pretty much entirely purely evil, because they don't lean towards the lawful so much and or chaotic. They're probably a little bit more lawful. Like I said, they make deals, but they're not often willed to keep to them, and they recognize like toughness and strength and power and all that stuff a lot more than just outright greed. Yeah. Okay, so moving on to the next one. What were they? Oh, these are the Bayoneloth. Those are the guys just out of the law that, like apparently one of those commissioned it with night hags, and a trio night hag coven created all the Yugoloths, and all the Yugoloths not only were created by this hag coven, they had their names put in some books, and there was 4 of them, and these 4 books were lost to time.
Oh no!
And I'm going to put one of these books in here so that later on, if they got summoning, they may be able to summon a named devil or a named demon, because devils and demons' names, it's fiends' names, and other people who've wronged the night hags can have their name in here, so they might be able to summon them. Whether they can use them, control them, and keep them, or only work with them is entirely different. But
I mean, if you know a demon's name, you have like full control over it.
That's the thing too. Yeah, that's the idea of it. Yeah, if you have their name, then you have control over it. So this is why this is quite a powerful item, but there's only one of them, and it's like, so it's 25% chance if that name's in that volume that you have. All right. So there's a lot of stuff going on there. Go over to the next one. So this is all the different CRs of all those creatures. I'm going to have different kinds of them. Over the piece, I'm going to try and see if we can get as many of these Yugoloth types show up natively and reasonably in this setting, other than the ones we've just talked about real quickly. What have we got over here? What was that next one? The Battleloth. So these are the ones that we got like multiple X times Battleloths. These are the ones that can like transform into different versions of weapons and be used by the actual other Yugoloths, and it essentially gives them a +1 biting cursed weapon, right?
I want a gun Battleloth where the head is just a gun.
Okay, so you want a Gunaloth. All right. So maybe, yeah, sure, maybe one of the Nikoloths is a gunslinger, you know,
With,
right?
Gun Battleloth.
Slinger with a Gunaloth. I'll have to work on that. All right. When we put them in later on, we give them a room in their headquarters, whatever where they are living and staying. I'll have to remember the Nikoloth that's a gunslinger with a Gunaloth. So we have multiples of the Battleloths, and what's on the next one there, Paige? Just quickly. Oh, you wanted to know what they're doing here. Okay, so at Wild West, they obviously need cattle. They obviously need cattle. So the idea is that they will have these
rune-branded aurochs?
Yeah, rune-branded aurochs. They're fell creatures. They've been perverted and corrupted in somewhat. They get used as much as eating meats as they are for cavalry, like mounted. Sometimes some of the other Yugoloths might mount them.
They can ride it if they still have the saddle.
Well, some of them have wings, so they don't need it, and some of them would never do that, right? But maybe one of them or one or two of them actually rides one, you know, right? So you.
No. If the people still have the saddle from like.
Oh yes, if they have this saddle. Yes, if they have this saddle, that's right.
They can ride it and be able to fly freely on the hell cow.
All right. So yes. Well, they have. That's it. They have these rune-branded aurochs are hell cows. Yeah, sure. And yeah, if you still have that saddle from before, yeah, sure, put it on there. Now, so this is what's going on here. I think that was it, right? You can jump back to the other screen now. All right. There we go. So I think we can end it up with that. From here, we'll be getting into the actual township of the
meat.
Yeah. And we'll get rid of all of these
sticky notes
and stuff as we go through. And we'll reveal the different Yugoloths and go into them in more detail. Oh, you'll also see X times mortal township people, all right? Villages, you'd essentially call them, right? These people here work in some of these facilities and rooms and buildings that they've got along the side of this lava flow. So we have some mortal villages, all right? So they're the people who are pretty much just looking on going, including children. There is actually children here. people do live and reproduce and have lives in this environment, believe it or not. So there is younger of the races here, okay? More villagers, including children.
Well,
So
that's really it for today, right?
yeah, I think that's it. We've gone over everything.
We'll see you next time.
Yeah, thanks for sticking with us.
Do the thing.
Yeah, Ben Marion says no hassles. Catch you next time. Stay weird.